Hello everyone, thanks for watching. So in this video I have swapped out the 212cc engine for the 420. It was a big question I had come up after doing the reverse mounting kit with the 212. So I've gotten it all done here. I'm going to show you how that goes, and then at the end I'm going to take the reverse kit apart and see exactly what happened inside there that made it not work out for this big block. And then looking back, kind of is unfortunate, but the size of the 420cc engine in there meant I couldn't put the bed back on until I lifted things. Or at least I've got it down to where all I have to do is get a new exhaust and then I can put the dump bed back on. So that all being done, the reverse box did not hold up. Looking back, it didn't even hold up to the original Tillotson 212 that I had in there. But with the bed being gone, I was able to see what was going on this time. I assumed it was the chain jumping across the sprocket, and every time I'd go back there and I'd see the chain was loose again. I thought maybe I was buying cheap chain, kind of bought different chains, tried a few different ones out, and I kept having the same problems. So I figured, okay, we set up the better torque converter because that was an issue with the 212. The 30 series just wasn't enough for how big the Earth Dog is. So I went with the 40 series, got the Duramax 420cc, it's rated for 16 horsepower. The reverse kit's only rated for 13, but what I didn't notice with the bed on that I did notice with the bed off is that chunking sound. You can hear it in this clip. It wasn't the sprocket and chain jumping, it was the reverse box disengaging. Like it wasn't even trying to spin the output gear. The input gear just kept chunking. And you could hear it about 5 times. You'd hear a click sound or a kind of like metal hitting sheet metal or hammer hitting sheet metal sound. And that's exactly what happened when I put the 16 horsepower in, and it just kept doing that. As soon as it went into reverse, it was making that sound left and right, but man, did it take off, because the Duramax, the throttle return system, doesn't take it all the way back down to idle, so the torque converter kept engaged, and I mean, this thing just went right up an embankment. It had plenty of torque, but the reverse box kept making that chirp, that tapping sound. And in this video, when I get at the end there, when we get the reverse box all taken apart, Wes has a pretty good theory on why the reverse box failed, what part internally failed, how the reverse box isn't damaged by the failure, and well, the rover sat for probably 3 months up on the top of my hill. Because when it failed, I was done with it. So I'm thinking about ditching the reverse kit and just the 420cc powers it. I'd still have to put a header on it just so that I could put the dump bed back on. There's going to be some other modifications because in the process the brakes failed. So I don't really know what to do. I was thinking maybe put the Duramax 7 horsepower motor back on. I could change the gearing and it wouldn't hurt the reverse box anymore, or I just got to find something that's heavier duty for the Rover. It's got 24-inch tires on it. Overall, the thing's pretty heavy. It's pushing hundreds of pounds sometimes, and the hill I was driving it up in that little clip, that's a pretty steep hill, so it bogged down pretty good. So I don't know what to do. I was hoping, I don't think it's going to work out though, but the neighbor had a broken down quad. It was 4-wheel drive. I thought, you know, that suspension and powertrain would go great underneath this thing. The 4-wheel drive would be just awesome to have. So we'll see. I think to start off, I don't know. It's back in the garage now. I finally dragged it down the hill. But here we go. So enough rambling on, and here's how it all went down. So I went about things a little bit differently. I basically built a little sled, and then I mounted it just like the motor base is mounted. It's got 4 bolt holes inside the sled, which are really hard to get to. You can see 1 bolt there, but basically there's 4 of them, and then they're mounted into slots just like a motor mount plate would go. And then I used T-slot nuts. I don't know if it's gonna, yeah. I used those T-slot nuts for the reverse box. And then I don't think you're gonna be able to see them up there, but for the motor as well. The motor's using some, let's see, they're 3/8 coarse thread bolts, and it's a 1/2 inch wide T-slot nut. And so I milled out some grooves on this big piece of C-channel. I'll go ahead and put that video in here. Alright, so there it is. I can mount my 420cc motor here, and then my reverse box housing is going to get mounted here. That reverse sled, mounted it all up. Everything can slide and adjust through those T-slots. You just have to crack the bolts on the top. You don't have to worry about fidgeting with nuts on the bottom at all. That way you can keep the chains all tightened up. So I'm about done, but in the process, I've got some clearance issues. I'm gonna have to cut these guys off here, because when this thing pivots, this bar hits the old gas tank mount. So I'm gonna clear those out. Just probably hit them with a grinder or a Sawzall or something. And then on top of that, I'm also gonna weld in these little shock tabs up here. The old ones were right here, new ones there, and that's gonna give it a little bit of lift as well. So it'll help clearance everything, because this motor is a lot bigger than a 212. The 212 looked tiny in there. This thing's about as big as it can get. So I've got a 40 series torque converter, and then a little bit of gear reduction. I think we're going from a 10 tooth to a 17 tooth on this. Trying to keep the RPMs down. It's not like the Tillotson where it was a 5,000 RPM engine. I had a big old sprocket here. This, it's governed, so 3,600 RPM. Don't quite need as much sprocket back here. And most people don't care, if you want to keep it at the 2,300 RPM that they say this thing's good for. But we're already pushing the horsepower, about double what it's rated for. So I think keeping the RPMs down is probably a good idea. So I got shock mounts to do. I still got to bolt my brake cables back up, bolt the shifter linkage back on, hook up throttle and electrical. And we'll see how the rest of that goes. Alright, so before I got to cutting on the old gas tank mounting tabs, and really before finishing all this up, I got it scrapped together just enough that I could take it out, and that's how I found out that the reverse box was making all that noise. So I didn't really completely go dialing this thing in. Once I had that failure, it was clear I needed to look into the reverse box, see what was going on, and if it was something that could be solved. So here comes that video. I'm going to be just basically taking apart the reverse box and coming up with a good theory on what we think was the failure point. But I think, yeah, a 212, just a stock 212, not the Tillotson Racing Stage 1 or any of that, just a 6.5, 7 horsepower 212 with more gear reduction. And, you know, these Rovers, I think they came with 22-inch tires. I think if you kept it all tuned down, I think it would be a good motor for you. Again, it's not going to be very fast. It's going to be about the same as the original 150. at least you can find parts for it. But if you're really pushing it to the extreme, the 150 is going to outperform it. It was able to do the steep inclines and tow, I think, a little bit better. A lot of the kinks got worked out when I switched out to the Juggernaut torque converter. It held up a lot better, but you get this thing loaded up enough, it was still a bit of a problem. So here goes that video of the reverse.
There's no way that could have been slipping out without breaking. So what the theory is, the shifter goes on there, then it's bouncing like this and engaging and disengaging to make a clunking sound.
But you can feel it, like, it feels like it's skipping a tooth on the sprocket.
Well, that's because...
And there's no way, I mean, with that short, there's no room to skip a tooth.
Well, when this disengages, it would feel like it's skipping a tooth because it's disengaging for one tooth, then going to the next and re-engaging. So, I've got an idea.
What's that?
Let's go pin the shifter over as hard as we can into one gear and see if we can get it to stop.
All right. Well, Wes rode up the hill on the back of this thing with a wrench down on the shifter, tried to hold it in gear, but it still jumped in and out. So there's really just no way that this gearbox is going to hold up to that kind of torque. It's instant the way it starts chattering, whereas it was doing it only in heavy load situations with the 212 motor. So that gearbox, even though the one I bought was said it was rated to 13 horsepower, you see the same one on other websites rated for 7 horsepower. I'm going to say it's only rated for 7 horsepower. And even 7 horsepower with the weight of the Rover and the steepness of the incline it was going up, or if you've got a heavy load or something behind it, it could still pop in and out of gear with 7 horsepower. So yeah, it barely holds 7, and this is heavy. Like I said, a go-kart, you're not going to have any problem on this. It's going to be a great reverse box for a go-kart. But for a golf cart or a side-by-side, something of this size, it's just too small. Alright, well that's it for today's video. I hope that cleared up any questions you might have had on that reverse kit and about what it can or can't handle. If you like the content, please subscribe, hit the notification for future content, and give me a thumbs up. And if you've got any questions, any thoughts on maybe another option for a good way to power this thing, and I'm really been holding out for the quad. It had front brakes on it. Something like that out here. Brakes are important because everything's on a pretty good size hill. And 4-wheel drive would be nice, so I really think that holding out for a quad, that type of option, would be a good idea. But tell me what you think, leave a comment below, and thanks again for watching. Take care.